and welcome to A Problem Squared, the podcast equivalent of a shandy, and that will solve your problems, provided they are trivial enough that all they need is something light, bubbly, and a little bit alcoholic. I'm Beck Hill, the lemonade half of the show, because I'm full of sugar and gas, and I'm joined by Matt Parker, who is the beer half of the show, for obvious reasons.
Thanks.
Because you like beer.
I'll just grab you a sparkling, but also contains gas.
Yeah, always
Yeah,
gas.
either.
Definitely gas. On this episode,
I solved the problem of where the earth should be.
I'll look at what to do in a lift.
And we've got plenty of any other business.
Oh, my absolute favorite.
You love it.
I love any other business. I would ask how you are.
You know how I am.
Your face is telling me.
So tired.
Yeah, so we're
So
recording
tired.
in person again.
Yeah, we're both in the same room.
Because the last two episodes were recorded while you were in Australia.
Correct.
And I was in a cupboard.
Yep.
As per.
And you're not in a cupboard.
Nope. I am now in Godalming with you.
Yep. I'm not in Australia.
No, but you got back
But I
yesterday.
was. I landed yesterday.
What time did you land?
So I got the direct flight from Perth to London, which is just over 17 hours, and it landed at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't negotiate with jet lag. So I landed. Jet lag negotiates with this guy. I landed, got home at 6:40 in the morning. I did a full and rewarding day because I had a bunch of work to get done.
I don't know how you do that, though. I don't function.
I push through. It's not my best work.
But you say that as if that is an option.
If people watch the video about when I went to the solar eclipse in Australia, which should be out about when this podcast goes out, I recorded all the voiceover for that yesterday when I just landed home and was deeply jet lagged.
Oh.
So see if you can spot any jet lag.
I suppose I'd be more able to do that than when you say work. I just imagine emails, and my brain wouldn't be able to do emails.
I did a bunch of data crunching.
Oh,
If
see,
people
that's not any
Look at
better.
my video about basketball shooting percentages.
Is it out?
No, but it will be.
Oh,
You were there.
I know. I'm so excited. I genuinely found that so fascinating when you were talking to me what it's going to be about.
That was a lot of fun.
And I was like, this is really interesting.
So I was crunching the data.
Yum,
Oh,
yum,
and
yum.
Spoiler.
Ooh.
I think I can say this. We haven't got it confirmed yet. We're moving it up the chain. I found some anomalies in the official NBA stats.
What?
I know, which has slowed me down a lot because I got real distracted by that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm really hoping I've found something that the NBA will then fix.
And then you get to be on TV for the NBA.
Exactly, you
belong
tall person.
here.
You've played basketball. Get in here. So anyway, yeah. So if you also watch the one where we're playing basketball,
Yeah.
I was doing some more of the stats crunching for that. I was doing a bunch of the plotting, all the plots that you see.
And I should say that any footage of really decent balls going through the hoop, as they call it,
That is word for word.
is because I was there
You were there.
and I'm not in the experiment because I was taking score. But, or am I? Did I make it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't got the final edit. Okay, you know what? Let's just quickly watch the stupid montage. There's you. We saw you shoot, but we didn't see the ball. There we go. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Did you see that?
I didn't realize you guys got that on camera.
Yeah.
I'm chuffed.
That time you made a shot
Shut up.
from
Oh,
downtown.
now I've ruined it.
No, it's one of your many
Now everybody knows.
3-point shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the rough cut, and I needed to do some final number crunching, and I might record the voiceover for that, but I don't know I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Maths. I'm Matt Parker.
That's basically the voiceover.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of jet lag talk. And that's not why we're here, Beck. Let me just go to producer Lauren. Lauren, how many people have been demanding a stump date?
Oh, okay. So
actually, stump date is mainly we were going to move the tree when I was back this time, but it had a parasitic wasp in it, or a number of them,
oh no.
like gold wasps.
Yeah.
And because we were going to move the tree to my sister's place, but they're like, well, our neighbors have lemon trees and they've got another citrus tree. We don't really moving parasitic wasps that target citrus trees. So we realized so that we can't transport the lemon tree, and the lemon tree had become a key part of stump date. We were going to move the tree when I was back this time, but it had a parasitic wasp in it, or a number of them,
Oh, no.
like gall wasps.
Yeah.
So we realized so that we can't transport the lemon tree, and the lemon tree had become a key part of stump date.
Mm.
So this time when we were back, we still finished digging up the tree, but very sadly, we then just chopped it up into small bits
Oh,
and was sent to the tip.
yeah.
So that the lemon tree is no more. But I did while we were cutting down the tree, get you a present.
You kept me a bit of the wasp-infested wood.
No.
I was going to say, you're not even allowed to carry that over international lines.
You can bring in?
Lemons?
A lemon.
No way!
I brought a single lemon. Here it is. I'm handing
This-
over
This
a
is
single lemon
wow.
from the Parker family
Got a little
no
smile.
longer lemon tree.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's a happy one. You could draw eyes on it.
Don't think I won't.
But
Thank
so,
you.
So as we were moving the tree, I was like, that looks like a perfectly good lemon on it. And so I was like, I'm taking that back for back.
This is
to
another reason
conclude.
why I'm the lemonade half of the shandy.
There you are.
Yeah.
And guess what else happened when we pulled out the lemon tree?
Another stump.
I looked down into the void left behind. I was like, wait a minute. I jumped into the pit, cleared some sand, more stump.
More of previous old stump.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the old Jarrah root that went under the tree. Now, I got the good bit last time.
Yep.
But I got at least another 1.5 meters.
Yeah.
And now my family were like, Matt, we're done. The tree's out. We're just going to fill the hole in. I said, no, I'm getting in there. I'm not leaving that stump behind.
Yeah.
So a lot of digging later.
What? That is like a stump, but it's a
Yeah.
thick bit of stump.
The wood's not as good
Like
as
root.
the bit that we're getting worked on at the moment,
Mhm.
but that is a solid 1.5 meters.
The fact that your parents had to stand around while you dug
I
out
know.
the root.
They were like, we're done. It was so hot.
Yeah.
Right? I was sweating. And they're like, Matt, we're done.
Yeah.
I then asked my dad if I could just leave that in his shed.
Mhm.
So I think we're still going to focus on the primary bit of stump,
Mm.
but we now have this secondary, lower quality but longer bit of stump.
I think a staff. I think a walking staff.
Staff? Okay.
Mhm.
What were you doing while I was digging for buried stump?
I've been doing gigs.
Oh, you're
More
gigging
gigs.
again.
Gigging again.
How's it going? Is it all come back?
It's good. I've started. I did Ted Hill, who
Oh, yeah.
I'm spreading the rumor that we're cousins,
I would believe that. I would believe
related
that.
through our uncle Harry and our great uncle Benny.
Ted has done Evening of Unnecessary Detail.
Yes, yeah. Ted's great. Ted is like
Yep.
king of the PowerPoints.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very funny. So he's got a show called Niche Humor, which is a deliberate pun on the UK comedian Niche Kumar.
Yep.
I tried out a new bit that I think I might take to an Evening of Unnecessary Detail in New York.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so that went down well.
Update on that, by the way.
Mhm.
Sold out.
Yeah, so if you're just listening to this now and going, oh, you guys are going to be in New York, then sorry, we
There
are. but-
might be, because if there's any like returns or cancellations, there'll be like last minute tickets.
So I did that. I also did been doing some Comedy Club for Kids gigs,
Oh, yeah.
which I love. I love Comedy Club for Kids gigs. I did a couple at Didcot Arts Centre, and they were really fun. But there was a birthday party in, and they are the child equivalent of
That's
a stag do.
Yeah,
It's a
nice,
stag do.
nice.
Yeah, the adult is outnumbered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there was like 9 kids to 1 adult
Just kids tearing around.
in that group. The rest were all, parents with their kids.
Yep.
And they were fairly well behaved towards the end, and I was at the end. It's called a headliner, guys. And so,
Oh, now who's bragging?
So I went on, and they were fine, and then they started to get chatty and yelly, and I made the mistake of going what? Because I couldn't tell if they were yelling at something that I had dropped or missed or something.
Did you show weakness?
I showed weakness because I gave them a moment
Oh,
to yell something out. And I said, oh, what was that? And they're like, where's your flannel? And it turned out that was the heckle, was where's your
Where's your
flannel?
flannel?
Where's your bathtub? Where's
What
your
a-
flannel?
What a burn.
Where do you keep your flannel? Now, obviously, it's some in
can't
joke
recover
with the
from that.
kids, which I think is hilarious. I think that's a great heckle.
in-joke.
And so, but I just went, where's your manners more like?
Oh,
And
dang!
the parents all went nuts for it. Like it got a round of applause from
yeah.
everyone else. And then I couldn't stop laughing because I was like, because I could hear the other comics laughing off stage. And I said, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, comedian destroys heckler.
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
yeah.
that's it. Kids.
9-year-old heckler.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed that. But I do, and I'll let the listeners in on a little secret. I was very tempted to when they said, where's your bath? or like, where's your bathtub? Where's your flannel? I wanted to be like, at your mum's house. And I was like, I can't do that for multiple reasons. No. But I really wanted to.
There's a non-zero chance you could have got away with it.
Yeah.
But the risk reward.
Do you know what? It's not that I couldn't have I think I definitely would have gotten away with it.
Yep.
I think it would have gotten a good laugh, to be honest. There was enough adults in that it would have gotten a good laugh. But because you wouldn't be expecting that, the adults would find that very funny.
It's funny,
and we go, we know that this is we get it. We get it. We get it. I don't really mean that.
Yep.
But kids aren't going to know that I really don't mean that. And kids will probably then go and say the same thing.
Good point.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think they're like poisonous berries in that. It doesn't matter how delicious something is.
Yep.
If it's poisonous, it's still poison. So the same with the joke. Doesn't matter how funny it is.
That's true.
If it's bad ethically.
Bad core.
Yeah, if it's going to have a bad effect on people, whether you intend it to or not, then doesn't matter how funny it is. It's still bad.
Where was that when you were making fun of me for bragging?
It wasn't a joke.
Oh, no, good point.
Should we get on with the show?
Yeah, let's do a show.
The first problem is for you, Matt.
Yep.
And it's from Burgermeister.
Oh, there's a
name
burger blast from the past. Yeah.
Yeah, so Burgermeister.
Yeah.
We have solved one of Burgermeister's problems in the past.
Well, you did.
I did. Yeah, in episode 009.
Whoa, first 10.
Yeah, they wanted to know how big the biggest burger would need to be.
You did a whole video.
And I did a video. I made a video for it as well.
Deep in lockdown.
Yeah, it's somewhere on my YouTube page if anyone wants to check it out. Beck Hill Comedian. But the mysterious thing about it is that, and I found this out while doing the video, is that Burgermeister asked us this question on Twitter because it was before we had a problem posting page.
Yes, it was. Wow, that is early.
And Burgermeister did not have any other tweets. And I realized they created the Twitter account, I believe, just to ask the question.
Well, we saw that the Twitter account was it suspended or was it just missing?
Yeah, I think we tried to find it again later, didn't we?
I did reach out to Burgermeister because they said they opened the account just to send that problem on Twitter, but then they used like some throwaway email address. They couldn't verify their email, and then the account got locked.
Right.
So that's what happened. It was a disposable Twitter account.
Yeah.
Just to send in.
It was that, yeah. Because I think I also wasn't sure whether maybe it was just someone who really likes burgers.
Yeah, that was my theory.
But it's the only time that they've tweeted.
And this is why we have the problem posting page at problemsquared.com.
Yes.
You don't have to make a temporary Twitter account to get in touch anymore.
No.
Go there. Give us a problem. Just like Burgermeister did now.
So Burgermeister says, Matt recently made a video about the number of weeks in a year, and it made me think, could we move the Earth further from the sun until we have exactly 53 weeks in a year?
Yep.
It is neater and removes leap years. Would it also fix climate change?
I know that's a real clutch final sentence there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know you're going to answer this, but they phrased it to say, could we move the Earth?
Could we move the Earth?
And I'm going to say no.
No. No, you're right, actually.
That's hard.
You're right. You're focusing on a different part of the problem. Yeah, I don't want to spoil this, but I did not factor in how we would move the Earth.
Yeah.
I just went with could we?
Yeah. So we'll go down that route.
Yeah, we'll go down. So for starters, the video. If you want to find it, I've got a YouTube channel. Go to Beck Hill Comedian.
The algorithm will work out.
Yeah, you'll work it out. Watch enough of Beck's videos, mine will get recommended. So I found not a loophole. So during that, I point out a quirk of the UK tax system. I don't know if you've seen this video, where you pay different amounts of NI tax depending on if you're paid monthly versus weekly for exactly the same benefits, because the HMRC, which is the tax department over here, they use a weird definition of a year, or a month rather, that doesn't actually match up to the correct number of days, because a year is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Earth spins, that's our day.
What?
I know. And it orbits the sun, that's our year.
Yeah. And
the two have no direct physical relation to each other, other than they're both counterclockwise viewed from above, because that's the dominant angular momentum in our solar system. But they don't need to be a neat multiple of each other. So that's a mess. And HMRC don't bother doing it properly. And it means there's a mismatch in where the boundaries and the tax kicks in. Because everyone says how many weeks are there in the year? 52. How many days in a week? 7. But it can't be, because if you multiply them together, that's not 365 days, 364 days. There's always a bonus day left over. Burgermeister's got an interesting point, though. So what we could do, and the assumption here is we don't break the length of a day.
Yeah, so the Earth is still spinning at the same speed.
So whatever we do to move the Earth, I'm leaving the details here for someone else to work out.
Yeah.
Can't interrupt it spinning on its own axis.
Yes.
That's got to stay the same.
Yeah.
But we just got to move it a little bit further away from the sun.
Yeah.
Because the crazy thing is, if you know how far something is from the sun, you can know exactly how fast it's moving and how long its orbit is, purely based on that distance.
Oh.
Because the distance determines everything about the orbit. Because the sun is so much bigger than anything orbiting it. If it was like a binary system, that's different and more complicated. If you actually factor in gravitation from any third or fourth bodies, that gets more complicated. But if you're just looking at a big sun and a tiny planet, the distance tells you how long the year is. And the further out you go, the longer the year gets.
Yeah.
So Venus and Mercury have shorter years than the Earth. And all the planets further out, Mars and onwards, have longer years.
Yeah.
So all we got to do is just bump it out ever so slightly, and we'll have ourselves a longer year.
Yeah, just enough that it could spin around 7 more times before it.
6 more. Yep.
6 more.
Because we've currently got 52 weeks
yes,
in one day.
Of course, yes.
We need to get 6 more spins
I'm thinking
in.
adding another week.
Right back. We'll do all that
It's the
work.
same problem. Yeah.
Now, a little detour. I'm going to point out something people are worried about, and then explain why they don't have to care. So if people want, you don't have to pay attention to this. I'm very jet lagged, so if it doesn't make sense, that's why.
Okay.
Here's the problem. A year is not actually how long it takes the Earth to orbit the sun.
What?
They're different things.
Oh, now I don't understand anything now.
I know. So I mean, they're very closely related. It actually takes the Earth roughly 1 year and about 20 minutes to orbit the sun. So it turns out 1 year is actually slightly less than one orbit around the sun. So just by increasing the orbit, the orbit is not the year. And what we care about is the year being 53 weeks.
Yeah.
We don't actually care about the orbit. We just care about the year. And the reason they're different is we define the year as being the complete cycle of all the seasons. So from the exact midpoint of, let's say, summer, like pick your favorite solstice. From one solstice to the equivalent one the next year, that's your tropical year.
Okay.
And if you're not got a spacecraft looking back at the Earth, if you're living on the Earth, that's your year. Your year is season to season. But the Earth, actually, can I borrow the lemon I gave you?
Yeah.
This is now the Earth, right? And the little knobbly bit at the top is the axis that the Earth rotates on. The reason we have seasons is because the Earth is on about 23-degree tilt.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this in a previous episode.
Yep. But what we didn't mention is that tilt wobbles around.
Oh.
And the tilt actually does a complete lap once every 25,772 years.
What does that mean?
So what it means
the
is
tilt does a lap.
So what it means is if the Earth, is on this tilt and does a full orbit around the sun.
So Matt is holding the lemon at an angle.
Yep. And gets back to where it started. By the time it gets back, it's actually tilted around ever so slightly like that.
Okay.
So actually, because it's tilted around slightly, when you get back, it lines up with the same tilt compared to the sun sooner because the tilt has moved in towards where it needs to be.
Okay.
So the vast majority of the tilt changes the Earth going around the sun, but also the tilt itself has changed very, very slightly. 25,772. Like a tiny, tiny amount.
This feels like the sort of thing that climate change deniers would lean on for
Oh,
arguments.
there's a whole host of stupid things the Earth and the sun and the solar system does on very long time scales. There's something like Milankovitch cycles. Because it
That's
also
a tennis player, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's also It also precesses, and actually, this is a precession I'm talking about. But the entire elliptical orbit also moves. There's a bunch. There's so many ridiculous things that the Earth does on long, long time scales. But this one, there's just enough of it happens per year that it means roughly every 70 years, 72 years, the Earth has moved an entire day earlier in the orbit. So New Year drifts around the orbit.
Okay.
Because of this precession.
Mm-hmm.
And so what people are thinking, they're like, well, no, you got to factor in the balance between how much of the orbit makes a year because of the thing processing, and then you got to compensate for that. It turns out they're linear. So actually, if you're increasing one by a percentage, you increase the other one by the same percentage.
Oh.
So this is a lot of chat to say, yes, there are tropical years. Yes, there are sidereal years. And by changing the orbit, we're changing the sidereal year. But if we change that by a certain percentage, we get the tropical year for free.
Right.
Because we get the same percentage. So if everyone wasn't paying attention for that, thank you for lending me your lemon. It means actually we're all good. We don't have to worry about that. And that's a nice bit of the podcast that if it's too long, Lauren can take out of the edit. But I was like, oh no, I got to compensate for this. I did a bunch of working out and went, doesn't matter. It's all good. All I got to do is just do the percentage. Yeah. So I did the percentage. So I worked out if instead of having the ridiculous number of weeks per year, which I did on the long-term leap year calendar we use at the moment, if we want to increase it to 53 weeks, we just need to make the year roughly 1.576% longer.
Okay.
Which means we've got to increase the radius from the sun such that that's the increase.
Yep.
Now, I talk a lot about how things changes like the square or the cube or something ridiculous. Like if you get twice as big, your volume goes up as the cube of that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a bit more complicated with orbits. The square of the time changes in proportion to the cube of the distance.
You've lost me.
So,
no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, so
you could have said the door is in proportion to the light switch and an anomaly of that which
it means if you want the year to be twice as long.
Yeah.
So you want it to be times 2.
Okay.
First of all, you got to take the square of that, which is 2 squared is 4.
Okay.
Then you got to take the cube root of that, which is some ridiculous number, 1 point whatever, to get the amount you got to change the radius by.
How do you work out a cube root?
You ask Excel.
Okay.
You do it on a calculator.
What is a cube root?
A cube root is a square root is working out what number, if you multiply it by itself, gives you back the original number.
Yeah.
A cube root is working out what number, if you multiply it by itself twice, gives you back the original number.
Okay.
So the cube root of 8 is 2.
Right.
Because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8.
Cool.
And so you've got to then factor in the square of one changes with the cube of the other. But it's not that bad. I put it in Excel. I worked it out. So you want to increase the distance by 1.048%. So that's all you got to do. Just bump it out 1.048%, which is approximately 1,568,022 kilometers.
All right.
Which is a long way.
1 million.
1.5 million kilometers.
Oh, so like a mega kilometer?
Yeah. 1.5 gigameters.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah.
1.5 gigameters? That's my...
there you are. Good.
That's
Good
my doc.
So there you are. So that's it. Yeah. And then just for completeness, I thought, well, I better work out how accurate it would have to be. Because do you want to go to all that effort to move it all the way out, but then you're slightly off.
Yeah.
So I then worked out to be accurate within 1 second drift in a year. So we're exactly 53 weeks in a year within a second. I thought would be a nice level of accuracy.
Yeah.
And to get that level of accuracy, you need to be within 5% of the distance change.
Right.
So we need to be within 77,000 kilometers of where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Piece of cake. So that's the answer to the problem. Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We're just going to move the Earth 1.5 gigameters within 77 megameters.
Yeah.
Job done.
Sweet.
I also checked.
Whenever you're this sure, I feel like there's a but coming.
There's no but. I did check the climate change thing though.
Okay.
We might go too far the other way. Who knows?
Oh no.
Well, I then worked out how much less energy would get, which goes as the square of the distance. Just to add another proportion in there.
And how wide is the Earth in kilometers?
Pretty big.
Like 77, that 100, whatever the difference
Oh,
was.
no, it's less than that. It's 12,000,
Yeah.
13,000-ish.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of Earths space.
Oh, yeah, within several Earths.
Yeah.
Of the movement, yeah. So we would have, compared to our current orbit, 97.9% of the heat from the sun, which means it's a roughly 2% drop, 2.1%.
Oh.
It's actually 2.06% drop.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, well, I couldn't find any research to say how much we would need to block out the sun to cancel out climate change.
We don't want to block out the sun.
Well, 2% of it. Well, if you blocked out 2% of the sun.
We're not blocking it with cloud cover or anything like that.
By
it's just
block.
less energy that is reaching us.
Yeah, sorry. I'm using that synonymous
It's like if you take a
reduce.
step away from the fire, it's cooler.
That's right. So we're moving it away. So we're reducing it by getting further away as
Yeah.
opposed to just blocking some of it but staying where we are. That's a real one and done scenario.
Yeah.
If you get it right.
Yeah.
So that sounds handy.
It makes me think of Red Dwarf and Lister playing pool with planets.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Yeah.
You have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
You move the Earth. So if anything, I feel like we might have to make more carbon dioxide. It'd be the other way around. We'd have to increase global warming to compensate for the reduced energy from the sun.
The oil companies will
So
love
we can
that.
lean right into that.
Yeah.
I feel like we're solving everyone's problems.
I mean, the capitalists, sure.
Yeah. So not only
there's still the cost of living crisis, but we'll get onto that another time.
that we'll fix. There'd be a lot of jobs to move the sun.
I mean, they'd love it if it was colder because then we'd have to spend more money on heating.
Well, look, I'm just saying, we would give ourselves scope for even more climate change. There you are.
Yeah, great.
And humans love climate change.
Yeah, that's like, I was thinking the other day about how much I would love to have a bigger flat.
Yeah.
Because our flat feels too small for the two of us, for me to work in and everything.
And a hamster.
And I was looking at a hamster, and I was like looking at my boffice, which is the opposite of the lounge, the old bedroom, which
lounge.
is now an office.
Yep.
And so I was looking around the office, and I was like, I just don't have enough space. And I was thinking, no, do you know what? If I had a bigger place, I would just fill that up with more stuff. Like, I would just keep going up and up and up. I'm never going.
And stuff makes you happy.
Until it doesn't, and then I need more
So
stuff.
Exactly, and I'm saying we'd have a lot more headroom.
So I feel like that's what we're doing here. Yeah. So eventually we'll have to just keep moving further and further out until we're technically not a planet anymore.
There is an upper limit to. Oh, actually, you're right. Good point.
Yeah.
Just keep moving out.
Yeah, we get darker and darker.
Wow, there's a you get Mars, and you got like an asteroid belt. That's true, but this wouldn't increase the light.
Yeah, I don't want dimmer.
I don't want dimmer. Where's 2% dimmer?
Yeah, it's like tinted windows,
that's
isn't
fine.
it? All right, cool.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. Yes.
I mean, I'll say ding, but
you don't sound happy about it.
I feel like it's something that could actually happen now. Like, we laughing about it, but I feel like in the future,
People will look at
this
this
going,
and be
do you
like,
remember
they
when
didn't
they made a
realize
joke about that?
when they joked about moving the Earth's
Yeah,
orbit.
it feels like something Musk would do.
Yeah, it means it won't work.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst part.
Oh.
It wouldn't even work. Well, thanks, Matt. I think that's great. And thank you, Burgermeister, for asking a solid question. I look forward to us having 53 weeks in the year. And
Perfect.
I mean, we could just change the way the calendars are done, but why?
No.
Why would we do that?
Why would you do that?
Because we just get
have
the week off?
Have a prime number of weeks.
Is it just a week? We get a free week?
Actually, prime number of weeks means there's no neat way to put it into months. I should have stopped with the ding.
I think it's good. The people need to know this. They'll tell us otherwise.
Yeah. We have a problem sent in by someone who goes by Just Ed, and they say that they spend a lot of time in a small lift and feel like they're wasting valuable time. They want to know, what can I do in about 1 minute while I'm waiting? And this is lift specific.
Yeah.
It's not like things you could do waiting in a queue or waiting at the train station. This is you're in a lift, I guess, by yourself. So they then say, I had a thought about doing a few press-ups every time they're in the lift, but the lift floor isn't quite big enough. Here we go. The lift is usually empty except for me. So Just Ed would like to know what they can do with roughly 1 minute while in a small cuboid.
Yes.
Beck, what do you got? With changing levels of gravity because you're in a lift. I don't know if that's important.
Just Ed hasn't mentioned that it's so much so that they can feel
The lift really moves.
Yeah. I'm so curious to know what Just Ed does. I like to imagine they're in a little dumbwaiter.
A minute.
And
A little dumbwaiter. They work in a dumbwaiter.
yeah, it's actually the rat from Ratatouille, and they're just like going up and down. Now, I'm assuming there's no other equipment in there with them because they talked about maybe doing press ups.
Yep.
And that makes me imagine that the rest of the floor is somewhat clear, but
I imagine
obviously
it's clear.
not large.
Yeah. There's not enough space for press. Yeah. And I guess they can't install any equipment.
Yeah, like no rowing machines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Put a
yeah.
chin-up bar in or something.
Why don't they put things to
should.
do in lifts?
Why not?
Well, that actually comes to one of my
Okay, yep,
one of the things I
have you
suggested
got?
was they should slowly decorate the lift.
That's great.
Just 1 minute at a time. Go in and just take a little poster and put the
That's
poster
it.
up.
Put like a little side shelf.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly.
Give it a week. Put a vase on it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Another week. Flowers.
Some cushions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obvious ones are admin.
Well, you know how to have a good time.
Yeah, but if now that's
Just Ed, have
a
you
lot of lifts you
considered
can't get
getting more admin in?
reception. Text someone you haven't spoken to in ages. Again, depends on reception. But I find quite often I'll think of someone and I'm like, oh, I wonder how they are. And then I just don't, the moment passes.
This could be your dedicated reach out time.
Yeah, check in on someone you haven't spoken. Just send them a quick message. How are you? And then next time you're in the lift, you can see if they responded. I've also put learn a coin trick. So one thing, it's hard to do these days because I don't tend to have a coin on me. But I'm trying to, one of the things that helps with coin tricks is to do the thing where you make the coin like go over your, not your knuckles, but the space between your knuckles on your hand.
Yeah.
You let it like fold over flip
For
over.
people's reference, the word Beck has forgotten is finger.
Well, no, but like not like the whole, it's like if you've got a fist
Yeah.
and then
With your fingers.
yeah, but I don't know. I think it's,
Okay, that's true. The section of your finger.
so that's a good thing to try to just keep doing.
See, my first thought was learn to juggle.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
And that's what made me think about the changing gravity. Because I was like, actually,
Of course.
is a lift a good place to learn to juggle if the acceleration of the balls varies depending on where the lift is in its movement?
Yeah, because when you're because you and I think can both juggle 3 balls.
Yes.
The trick is not to look at your hands; it's to look at the point at which where you want the ball to start going back down. So anyway, there's that. Oh yeah, I thought also what's something you could do in a minute. Like Instagram
Oh.
Reels are a minute long. Can't do more than a minute for an Instagram Reel currently. At
Would
the
you
time
have
of
like
recording.
Beck's uplifting thoughts?
I did #lift life. Because
lift life to the
if
fullest.
if you're in a
love it.
lift all the time,
Yep.
like fill us in on your lift life.
What's up with the lift life?
What are you doing there? What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
What are your little end of episode Jerry Springer moments? Like, I want to see that. I also looked up world records in a minute
Oh, that's interesting.
because you could just start if you
What-
get good at doing them in a lift. Then
What
you could.
world records are under a minute?
So this one is nicely relevant to our I'm a Wizard Patreon bonus
Oh.
episode. There's a world record for the most claps in a minute.
That's great. Just get in the lift and
Yeah. Just do a round of applause as soon as you get in.
That's excellent.
Do you want to guess how many it was?
320.
More.
No.
Mhm.
500.
More.
No, it can't be. It can't be more than 600.
Yep.
That's more than 10 a second. What?
1,140.
That's insane. That's like 19 a second.
It's in the Guinness World Records.
Wait. Okay, tell it. I'm gonna do 30 claps and you're gonna time it.
Okay.
Done. I feel like there was a. Oh, okay. I mean, that's under
How
10
many
a
was
second. Vaguely 30.
Yeah. So
Give
you
or
have to
take.
get better if you want to beat
Twice as
Dalton.
fast. Twice as fast as that. I'm impressed.
Keep practicing, Matt. You'll get there one day.
Thanks.
There's the most amount of punches in 1 minute. Full extension punches.
Wow.
Most spins of a Guinness World Records book on one finger
Oh, that's ridiculous.
is 394 in a minute.
Yeah, big book, man.
Okay.
A lot of records.
It would be very funny if someone came in.
Came in while
Like,
you're spinning
while
the book
you're
on your
clapping
finger.
would be great.
Welcome.
Like, okay. I'd love it if it was one of those lifts where you can kind of hear it as well.
As the lift goes by.
Yeah. The final thing that I thought I would look into, because they said they wanted to try doing push-ups, which makes me think that maybe they're a bit more fitness. Yeah. And, there's a lot of like workouts in a meta and stuff, but they all require some level of space.
Right.
Let's take something also doesn't require too much movement, because I don't know if you've ever been in a lift where someone jumps up and down, but I think that's terrifying.
You don't want to upset
I
the
hate
lift.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, don't want to upset the lift. So I reached out to Abigail Shimon, who's a comedian from New York who lives in London now.
Right.
She is one of the hosts of the Neurodivergent Moments podcast. She said, obviously, with yoga, it's more about the movement. Obviously, you don't want to rush yoga. But she gave a few very basic poses that she recommended that are very good. And they're all very useful, good for the body. And if you've got a minute, it'd be a nice way of recentering yourself. Good for your mental health.
Are you sure there's no world record for most yoga poses in a minute?
I haven't checked. In the meantime.
If there's not, you're pushing at an open door.
I mean, it's a very good way of causing liability because they hurt themselves. Now, one thing I will say is probably very good for your core strength, because if the lift is going up and down, it's wobbling. And so you're going to have to get better at your balance.
Yeah.
And so those are, and they're very minute moves, but if you're doing them, that's still very good for that posture. So I'm going to do the poses.
Oh my goodness.
And you can describe them, Matt. And then after we finish recording, I'm going to get you to recreate them, and we're going to take photos of them so people can use them as examples.
Feels like the worst way possible to convey these poses.
They're very, very simple. And these are, because I'm not good at yoga.
The first pose is taking off your jacket.
Yeah. All right. Just a slight back bend.
A slight back bend. Got it. Pose 1. Look at the ceiling of the lift.
Yeah. A nice big deep breath
Love
as you
it.
go back a bit. And then an exhale as you stand up straight again.
Got it. Becca's doing the classic touch your toes pose.
Just bend forward. Let your head.
I don't think I can touch my toes, but I'll give it a good go.
Just relax.
Got it.
Hang there for
Just
a bit.
enjoy the moment.
Take a nice deep inhale and
we have a good look at the floor of the lift.
Again.
Love it. Yep.
Okay, is this one?
Becca's doing the Y in YMCA. Oh, now it's like Y, but there's a stiff breeze coming from Beck's left. And then back up again. And then the other way. And then back up again. Love it.
So
we call that tree in the breeze.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So that's like a side stretch. But the key with that one, and they'll say this a lot, is that you're trying to create space in the side rather than trying to condense the other side.
You meant to expand the other side.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see if you can work out what this one's called.
Beck's doing a squat with like a Superman pose on the front.
So that's called awkward pose.
Correct.
There's sometimes it's also called chair pose, but quite often you have your arms a bit higher up.
Squat and flat arms.
Well, I will say, Abigail made it very clear. She said, I would do one pose per minute. Really take your time.
You don't do all of these each time.
Yeah.
You pick one.
Now,
do it for a minute.
Me, as Beck Hill, I'm not saying you need to do that, but I am also not a yoga instructor.
Got it.
So please don't hurt yourself. Right, 2 more.
Beck has once again put her hands on her hips, and then she's lifted up one leg and taken it to the side and put it on her other leg, like knee pointing out, like a capital P, legs only.
With that one, I've got my left foot resting on my calf. What you instinctively want to do, if you're like me, is rest it so that your foot's on your knee.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's bad for your knee.
Got it.
So calf or inner thigh.
Were the steps to get into that important, or is it any steps to end up in that position?
So again, it's about the movement. So raising your knee
You did a real
up
deliberate
ahead of
knee
you,
up,
and
out,
then out
foot
to
in.
the side.
Got it.
And then the foot on the calf. And then do it on the other side. And then the final one, I'll have fun describing this one, Matt.
She's lifting up her right foot and tucking it on the opposite side of her left leg. She's done her elbows are on the wrong side, hands together kind of move. Yep. She's definitely a brochure for the in-house hotel wellness center.
Yeah, you can swap
Yeah.
sides with that one as well, and that one's called Eagle Pose.
Eagle pose.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think
I feel like
personally,
I
I
feel
don't
like
think I
I'm
could
gonna
do any more than
I'm
that.
gonna knock those out of the park.
And just Ed, I'm very fascinated to hear if you do any of those.
Yes, please let us know what you end
get
up
in
doing.
touch. Yeah, photos, video. Let us know about your Instagram reels.
Well, I think, and this is one of the cases, Beck, where I cannot ding or non-ding in the moment.
No, we need to
I
wait.
got to find out what Just Ed does. So Just Ed, please do
Yeah.
let us know.
Oh, but we'll get a lifting if we do that, won't we?
Oh, I love a lifting.
Mm. Do you know what? This whole time
Come on,
I've been
Ed.
fighting the urge to say this is a problem on many levels, but I haven't
Well done.
because I'm
Very
better
good of
than
you.
that. So we have any other business?
Yep.
Vincent wrote into the problem posing page, selected solution, just to make a comment about
Oh.
the candy bar problem from
Oh,
episode 059.
People want to know, have we discovered all the candy bars?
Yes. Now, I don't think we've got a response from the problem poser.
No, not that I saw.
But Vincent says, Beck's solution to come up with a new candy bar feels very similar to showing uncountable infinity,
Oh.
thus proving there are uncountably many possible candy bars to be invented.
What?
And I don't know what uncountable infinity is, and I knew I could look it up, but I thought it might be more interesting to ask you.
Wow, that's... So there's different types of infinity.
Which I did not know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so many. So you've got one type of infinity, which is the countable infinity, which is the infinity where you just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you count things.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
there are infinitely many whole numbers as you keep counting up.
Mhm.
But then you're like, well, hang on, what if instead of having whole number counting, what if you allowed the numbers in between? Like 1.5,
Mhm.
1.67, whatever.
Mm.
And it turns out there are more numbers between 0 and 1 than there are whole numbers. There's a different infinity. And so it's a complicated mathematical proof.
Is this like an elaborate fence post problem?
No, it's not. Though, good reference.
So how are there more in between 0 and 1 than there are?
So what you
numbers?
do, the way the proof was done, so there's actually, people may have come across a thing called Hilbert's Hotel, which is like the kind of catchy name for the way that this
Yeah, this already
was
sounds more
showing.
interesting to me because of that.
So the way Hilbert's Hotel works is you've got a hotel with infinitely many rooms in it.
Mhm.
And they're numbered, let's say 1, 2, 3, all the way up.
Yep.
And the idea is you use it as a way to visualize, a systematic way to process when you've got infinitely many things.
Mhm.
So one opening question would be,
How many cleaners do you need?
how many? Well, actually, there is a problem where you've got a cleaning crew who clean the hotel.
I love this.
But at the beginning of the shift, you work out which rooms need cleaning and which don't. And there's a different cleaner for every combination of rooms that need cleaning. So, for example, if you're like, okay, today we got to clean room 2, room 71, and room 18. And there's a single cleaner whose job is only
Okay.
to clean when those specific rooms need cleaning. And the question is, what sized infinity of cleaners do you require in order to implement that cleaning system?
Oh, that one. Because there's only 3 rooms that need cleaning.
Well, in that case, yeah, but how many do you need on reserve for every possible situation, right? And so the proof of...
Because someone might throw up in their room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So the classic opening example is what's infinity plus infinity? And I'm using my language is not very precise there because infinity is not a number.
Mhm.
It's the size of a set of things.
Yeah. It's
But-
like what's blue plus trees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then the opening way of saying that is you go, right, if there's like infinitely many people show up on a bus and they're numbered 1 through infinitely many,
Mhm.
It's like easy. Everyone goes into the room with their number on it.
Mhm.
But then if another bus shows up and you're like, oh, where are we going to put these people? What you can do is go to the people who are already in their rooms and say, very sorry, you're going to have to change rooms. You have to go to the room that's twice your current room. And so everyone leaves their room and goes to the number that's twice the one they're in at the moment and then settles down for the night.
Okay.
Which means everyone's still got a room, but now everyone's in an even numbered room and there's now infinitely many odd numbered rooms empty. And that's where you put the
Ah.
new busload of people.
Okay.
And you can repeat that as many times as you need.
Okay.
Each time a new infinite bus shows up.
And what's that got to do with uncountable?
Well, that's countable infinity.
Yeah.
But then a bus shows up. So the hotel's empty. A bus shows up with infinitely many people, but they've all got big bus, but they've all got a number between 0 and 1. So one person 0.762948. So the way the proof is done is you show that there's no way to assign all of those numbers between 0 and 1 to the rooms in such a way that no one misses out on a room. You can always find someone who doesn't get a room in any given way of assigning people their rooms.
This has not answered my question at all. I still have no idea why that is.
So it's a long, complicated proof. It's not that long and complicated, but it involves writing things down.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna go into that, but that's the essence. The proof is then showing if you list all the people and what rooms they're going into, you can then generate a new number who's not on the list.
There are more combinations of numbers that happen after point. Like once you've got a decimal point, you can have infinite combination of numbers that go on forever. But with whole numbers, it's just...
Yes, but whole numbers can also get as large as you want.
Yeah.
There's still as many digits as you fancy in one direction of the decimal point as there are on the other direction of the decimal point. So there's a slight subtlety. So this person said, it's a long way to say, this person said your thing reminds them of that. It doesn't remind me of that because you didn't find a chocolate bar which is deliberately different to every other chocolate bar that exists. But you did make sure it was a new chocolate bar, but we weren't previously claiming we've already categorized every single chocolate bar. I can see why they think there's a similarity, but I don't think it's not the same. I would say it's not the same proof.
Are they saying it's similar because, like, if you think of each candy bar is a whole candy bar.
Yep.
But I'm saying that the elements that make up a candy bar could be anything. There has to be candy bars that haven't been invented yet because we haven't tried putting everything into a candy bar.
No.
Because that would have fit very nicely.
Yes. I think, but that was what you were doing. What they've done is they've said the proof about uncountable infinities involves making a big list of all the numbers and then finding a number that's not on that list yet. And you making the new candy bar was starting with a big list of candy bars and then finding a candy bar that's not on that list yet.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it's the same process of you start with a collection of things and you deliberately find one more than was already in the collection.
Okay.
But where I would say it breaks down from my jet lag point of view, the reason that works for the proof is you've already got infinitely many things. Like you think you've got everything in that set. You've got infinitely many of them, and then you find a new one that's definitely not in there. Whereas what you were doing was more similar to just
making assumptions.
A statistical thing of, I think I've found every animal that lives in this habitat. But then you go out and you're like, well, maybe we missed some. And then you see how long it takes to capture a new animal that you haven't previously discovered. So for me, it's more of a population estimation statistical experiment, what you were doing, which I thought was very clever.
Thanks. I'll take that.
There you are. Which is a long way to say no.
Yeah.
My answers tend towards infinity.
Do you know what might perk you up?
What might perk me up?
After your jet lag.
Wow,
I could infinitely long description.
Yeah.
It might be.
I'm very excited.
A problem square.
Oh, you've got them. I'm so excited. They're good. It's a bit like a you get like those. It's not a croissant, but like a chocolate
very
filled pastry thing. Yeah,
kind of chocolate.
That's it. Yeah. That's what it is.
But where the chocolate part is very thick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm prepared to ding.
Yay.
It's definitely a novel candy bar.
Now, this podcast is free.
Yeah.
For you to listen to. However, that is only because we have some wonderful Patreon supporters.
Oh, they're the best.
We like to thank 3 of those Patreon supporters at random each episode. And in this episode, those supporters are
Billy Yarvis,
Hugo Buama,
Buama,
Hugo Bummer,
I'm going to say Panga Ban. That's probably Barn. Panga Barn.
So thank you very much for being our wonderful Patreon supporters. I'd also like to thank our amazing producer, Lauren Armstrong Carter, and my co-host, Matt Parker.
Thank you.
I'm Beck Hill. Have a lovely day.
Right, Beck, I need to know, what game would you rather play so we can continue our BuzzFeed survey of which Muppet are you? Bananagrams is on
Oh,
the options,
I like
as
a bit
is
of
Scrabble.
Bananagrams.
Scrabble in my family is a chance to argue about whether or not something is a word before we consult the
that
dictionary.
sounds great.
It's a lot of fun. It's immense.
Rummy
amount of fun.
Royal, is that on there? No, it won't be.
It is not. Your other options were Guitar Hero, checked in a video game.
Quirkle.
Quirkle's not on there. Angry Birds, Battleship, Duck Duck Goose. Very different types of games.
Oh, and they are different types. I do like Duck Duck Goose, but I feel like that's 100% gonzo because it's bird related.
Oh, ugh. I'm doing Scrabble, I'm afraid.
I love Guitar Hero, but I'm going to go charades.
I did enjoy Guitar Hero. I played a lot of Battleship when I was a kid.
I think some of the first videos or some of the earliest videos I put on YouTube was extreme charades,
There you go.
which is where I used to do charades in extreme situations.
Okay, charades and Scrabble. Locked in.
Done.